This is a Get Hired RDH 10-minute training session with your dental hygiene job hunting personal trainer, Doug Perry. And now, here's Coach Perry.
Hey, what is up, everybody? Thanks for joining me again at this week's training tips for dental hygienists looking for a job. This week I wanted to do something a little bit different. I've been kind of recording the articles that I've been writing, and sometimes it makes for not as exciting listening tips, and so I'm trying to think of different ways that I can impart some of this information that I've gathered over the years, and ways that I can help you all become more effective in your job search. So one of the ideas I had today was to, rather than go into punctuation, which is something that I talked about in my article, and also I created an infographic on it I think is really helpful. You'll want to look into that on my website or on one of my Pinterest page or one of my other social media pages, but has a lot of great tips on how to punctuate sentences and make sure that your grammar and your punctuation are just right, spot on. So check that out. Definitely worth looking at and saving a copy of that as you go along and creating your resume. But this week I wanted to talk to you about something that a client actually gave to me that I just think is brilliant. And it's not something that I had thought about before. So I'm really grateful that she came up with this idea and she suggested it to me. So here it is. At the top of your resume is a section that typically, in most resumes anyway, is called objective. Now I've taken that section and kind of rebranded it into About Me. I think that objective is overused and really says nothing. It's pretty irrelevant. I mean, everybody's objective is to get a job at that particular office that you're applying for. So you're not bringing anything new to the table by putting an objective up there. I've rebranded that into an About Me section, is what I call it. And for that, I put into that section for my clients just a brief statement that sort of captures the essence of their personal brand, of who they are and what differentiates them, what makes them unique. So that's what I do with that section. Now, what I had a client come to me this week and talk to me about, actually emailed me about, was incorporating into that, or at least somewhere, just some information about why it is she became a hygienist. What made her inspired to decide on dental hygiene as a career. And so she sent me that explanation of how that happened, and it just happened to be very, very short, and that's great. That's perfect for what I had in mind. But we took that information, we put it into her About Me section and kind of interlaced it with some of the key words that kind of fit her personal brand. And I think that it just turned out brilliant. I mean, it really is interesting copy. It makes for more interesting copy, I think, if you can incorporate that story of how it is that you became a hygienist, or what it was that inspired you to do that. So I would highly recommend that everybody do that, and try to come up with a really, really short version of it. Obviously, it can't be really very long. I know there are some people out there that have long stories as to how they became a hygienist, or why they became a hygienist rather, and you don't obviously have a lot of room for that. So you want to narrow that down to just one or two sentences, just very, very brief, of how you were inspired. And it's also good material for your resume as well. Now, the cool thing about it is everybody loves stories. Stories are one of the most amazing, impactful, how can I describe it, tools for communicating and persuading people. If you really, really want to help them understand who you are, incorporate a story. And this goes not just for your resume, but your interviews. Put stories into it, share experiences into your interviews, and tell them these things, because it draws people in. If you just tell them the facts, if you just give them blah, 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 that I did this, I did that, and don't have a story behind it, it's just not as compelling, it's not as interesting, and it's not as persuasive. So if you really want to, and there's another tip for you, if you really want to be persuasive in your interviews, use stories. But also, this is a great place to use the story of how you became inspired to be a dental hygienist and incorporate that, just a little snippet of it, into your personal brand and how it is that what it is that differentiates you. If you want some examples of that or questions, just shoot me an email, and I can probably rattle a couple off and try to help you out in that way. But yeah, it's a fantastic tool for you to be able to persuade them and also draw them in and create something of interest that will make them want to read that, and then hopefully from that point they'll be drawn in enough that they'll want to read the rest of your resume. Anyway, that's just a quick tip for this week. Thanks again for tuning in, and everybody who responds and has been so kind to me in your feedback. I really appreciate it. It's been such a blast to be able to share with you these ideas and tips and to work with many of you one-on-one. It's just been such an honor, and I hope to be able to continue to do that. Please reach out to me if you have questions at any point along the way of your job hunting search for a dental hygiene job. I'm always happy to take those and help you out as much as I can. Anyway, everybody have a great week. It's a 4th of July weekend. Get out and have some fun. Not too much fun, but have some fun, and hopefully we'll see you again next week. Talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to the Get Hired RDH 10-minute training session. For more information, visit gethiredrdh.com, or you can reach Coach Perry at 801-683-9664 or Doug at gethiredrdh.com.